What's up, everyone? This is Andrew coming back to you with vlog number 2 from Houston 52 Social Club. Let's get into some poker.
Hey, what's up guys? It's Andrew. Welcome back to the vlog. I just want to make a quick disclaimer that this session, July 15th, was going to be my last session for a while, so I'm going to be on hiatus just because of the current cases of COVID in Texas, and I didn't want to risk anything. So after this session, I'll be on break for a while, so no more videos until further notice. Enjoy. Alright, we get there and wait about 30 minutes before finally being seated. We buy in for $1,000, well, $9.80 in chips and then $20 in tip chips, because in Texas you can't tip with chips on the table. So that's one of the workarounds of keeping Hold'em legal here in Texas. Alright, so after 20 minutes of folding hands, we finally get a playable hand of ace queen spades on the button, and we're also straddled to $6 on the button. So small blind under the gun +2, cut off limp. I'm going to raise here to 30. The small blind and under the gun +2 call, and the cutoff folds. Flop comes 9 of diamonds, jack of clubs, 3 of hearts. When they both check to me, I'm going to c-bet a majority of my range here, so I c-bet 60 into 99. The small blind calls, and the under the gun +2 folds. Turn, ace of hearts, so small blind checks again to me. With the ace on the board now, I don't want to scare him off the pot now that we've hit our card, so I bet a bit over what I bet on the flop. So I bet $80, and the small blind tank calls. On the river 8 of spades, when he checks to me, I don't think we get any more value from a worse hand, except maybe a crying call from a jack, and we're not looking to get check raised. So I just check it back, and he shows a 9, and we show ace queen, and we're good. On the next hand, we're dealt the good old aces in the under the gun +2. The under the gun +1 limps. I raise it up to 20. Big blind calls, and the +1 folds. So we go heads up to flop. Flop comes 7 of diamonds, 4 hearts, queen of clubs. Perfect, he has a queen. He checks to me, and I bet 20 just to keep him interested in the pot, whether or not he has a queen. Turn also comes queen of hearts, so when he checks to me, I'm going to size up to 50 just to see if he has that queen or not, or maybe he has some other type of draw. He ends up calling, so I'm going to shut down on most rivers, but the river comes the queen of diamonds, so we fill up with queens over aces. He checks to me again. I size up a bit larger, almost pot, just to get a call where he thinks I'm bluffing, or he thinks I'm full, because I haven't played too many hands yet, and what hand could I possibly be representing that I raise from the under the gun +2 from, and if he has a 7 or 4, we're going to get paid off. So I bet 150 into the 184, and he ends up calling me, and my aces are good. In this hand, we got pocket fives. So under the gun +1, +2, all limp. I'm going to raise up to 30 on the bigger sizing here, just because there's so many people in this hand already, or limping. Sadly enough, under the gun, the +1 and the +2 all call. Our flop comes 8 clubs, 4 hearts, king of spades. It checks to the under the gun +2, who leads for 25. For this price, 25 into 124, there's no way we're folding at least with 5, so we're going to float at least once. We call, the under the gun calls, and the +1 folds. Turn, we bank it, 5 of clubs, hit our set. It checks to the under gun +2 again, and he bets the same sizing of 25. We want to start building a pot here, so we raise up to 100. Sadly enough, the under the gun and the +2 both fold. This next hand, we have queen 10 offsuit on the big blind with a button straddle on. Small blind limps. I raise it up to 26. The under the gun and the cutoff both call, and then the button and the small blind fold. Flop comes 8 of spades, 5 of spades, 4 of hearts. The small blind checks to me, and I'm going to c-bet this flop for 40 into especially 2 weaker players, both the under the gun and the cutoff fold, and we take it on the pot. So I'm just going to do a quick rundown of a hand I don't have footage for. I was given the snowman or 8s on the button with my straddle on. Small blind, big blind, and under the gun limp. I pop it up to 36, trying to just take it down pre. Small blind under the gun, both call, but then the under the gun raises to 336. This isn't the type of player that bluffs, and I know he only plays jacks, queens, kings, aces. He likes to limp re-raise over raises, so he likes to 3-bet big when he has a hand, so I just fold. This next hand's pretty fun. We're in the big blind with pocket nines. New player just sat down, 200 effective under the gun. He limps. Cutoff raises to 20. I call, looking to set mine, and the under the gun also flats. Flop comes king of spades, 9 of clubs, 10 of diamonds, so we hit our set. It goes check, check, check. I was hoping that the pre-flop aggressor would at least c-bet on this board and we can look to either call and flat trap or just check raise, but that doesn't happen. So we go on to the turn, which is the 6 of diamonds. Here we have to lead out to charge any diamond draw, any straight draw, and charge kings. So we bet 35 into 61. The under the gun, funnily enough, min clicks it to 70. When the cutoff folds, we have an easy call here with our set. We don't want to raise here in case he does have the flop straight, and we can always reevaluate on the river depending on the action and what the card comes. The river brings a very favorable card, the 10 of clubs, which fills us up. So we have an easy all-in here with only him having 110 behind into 201 pot. We're going to charge and get the max value. He snap calls us, our 9s full of 10s are good, and he shows a queen jack for the flop straight. So it's just a cooler situation. If we missed, I think we just have to get it into with the crying call because he's going to bet 110 into 201, and I think we had to call with our set. Otherwise, we're kind of exploitable in that spot. But there might be a fold if a diamond comes on the river. In this next hand, we look at king 5 spades and the cutoff. Usually I would fold this hand pre-flop, but the small blind and the big blind players are pretty weak, and small blinds, especially short stack. So I'm going to open up to $18. Only the small blind calls, so we're going heads up. Flop comes king of hearts, 4 hearts, 7 of diamonds. He checks to me, and I c-bet 20 and take it down. The button shadow is on in this hand, and we're in the small blind with ace 9 of hearts. I'm going to open up to $16. The cutoff calls, and this is the same guy who had that deuce 4 offsuit hand like 3 hands ago. The button shadow folds, so we go heads up to a flop of 5 diamonds, 4 clubs, 7 hearts. I'm going to c-bet this flop, $20 into 41. When the cutoff calls, I'm basically going to shut down unless I improve to a heart draw or an ace or a 9. The turn brings a 10 of clubs, so no help to us. I check, he checks. River, queen of diamonds. I check again, and he checks, and he shows a 6-4 off to take down the pot with a pair of 4s. In this hand, we are on the button straddle with the good old pocket 7s. The small blind, the under the gun +1, under the gun +2, all limp. I'm going to pop it up to 26 to set mine and get a pot brewing. The small blind raises up to 71. The under the gun +1 and +2 fold. I can fold in this spot, but with under the gun, or the small blind, sorry, not having played too many hands and being on tilt because he hasn't picked up any hands except like deuce 4, deuce 8, all this stuff he's been telling me about, I feel like he's tilted and just trying to squeeze. So I'm going to call in and reevaluate what to do on the flop, especially with the holding like pocket 7s heads up. So I do call. The flop comes perfect for us, 7 of hearts, 9 of diamonds, 9 of clubs. He c-bets 80 into the pot, and we're gonna trap here with the boat, because if we raise, what hand could he possibly call with aside from aces, kings, queens, so on and so forth. So I call. The turn brings the 8 of diamonds, no change except bringing in the gut shot straight draw, which I doubt he would have unless he somehow had 10 jack. He checks it to us, and we bet 100 into the 311 just to keep him interested, because it's unlikely that the 8 hit his range, and like I said, only 10 jack is going to call big. So I bet 100 and he calls. The river brings the ace of hearts. When he checks to us, we have an easy all-in because he only has 300 effective, and the pot's 511, so easy jam here. He tank folds and says, nice bluff. In this next hand, we have my favorite hand, the K9. So we have the King 9 of diamonds on the button. The undergun opens for 15, hijack makes it 40. On the button, with my favorite hand, I'm going to call here, and the undergun also calls. Flop comes deuce, deuce, queen, and it checks all the way around. I don't think I should be donk betting here. It's easy for them to have a queen in their range. Turn brings another queen. So it's more unlikely now. So when it checks to me, I bet 16 to the 124. Only the under the gun initial razor calls. The river brings an 8. He checks it to me, so I took it as a sign of weakness, and I ended up blocker betting 75 to 244. I can fold easily if he raises, and obviously if he folds, it's great for us. But he instead raises to 200, and it's an easy fold for us. In our last hand of the session, we are under the gun +1 with 10-9 of spades. The button straddle is on, so the big blind calls, I call, folds around to the button who checks his option. Flop comes 10 of hearts, 3 of clubs, 7 of hearts. The big blind checks to me, and I want to protect my 10 here, so I lead 16 into the $19 pot. The button and the big blind both call. Turn 3 of spades doesn't really change much unless the straddle and big blind had the big blind straddle special with some ace 3 or suited 3. So the big blind checks to me, and I continue betting for 30 into 67, just a feeler bet, and the button folds and the big blind ends up calling. The river 5 of spades doesn't really change much except 6-4, but like what else really gets there? I don't think we get any value from a worse hand at this point. So when the big blind checks to me, I also check. He shows queen jack hearts for the missed flush draw, and we take it down with the pair tens. If you guys like the vlog, please don't forget to like and subscribe. Like I said, I will be on hiatus for a while because of the current COVID situation. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.
Feel this